Krishna 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 Hey. Krishna 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 Hey. Krishna 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 Rakshama. Krishna 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahimam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Rama Sri Madhusudana. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarane. Om Apavitra Pavitro Va Sarva Avastang Gatopi Va StMoritz Pundarik Akshang Sabhaya Abhyantara Suchihi. Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. Om Ajnana Timarandhasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Lang Hayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Sri Gurum Dina Taranam. Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Parama Ananda Madhavam. Trinadapi Sunichena Torar Iva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nam Eva Kevalam Kalau Nastyeva 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 Gatir Anyata. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya Arna Koriho mane asha. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are wrapping up the final episodes of Krishna book. We have been studying now for a couple of weeks the Krishna-lila, or Krishna's disappearance of himself and his dynasty. So tonight we pick up the first episode entitled Krishna Advises the Yadus. King Parikshit said, after the great devotee Uddhava left for the forest, what did the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the protector of all living beings, do in the city of Dwaraka? So, last week we studied the Uddhava Gita. So, this is the point of reference. After Krishna's own dynasty met destruction from the curse of the Brahmanas, how could the best of the Yadus, Krishna, give up his body, the dearmost object of all eyes? Once one's eyes were fixed upon Krishna's transcendental form, women were unable to withdraw them. And once that form had entered the ears of the sages and become fixed in their hearts, it would never depart. What to speak of acquiring fame? The great poets who describe the beauty of the Lord's form would have their words invested with transcendentally pleasing attraction. And by seeing that form on Arjuna's chariot, all the warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained liberation by gaining a spiritual body similar to Krishna's. So this is Parikshit Maharaj's opening statements, and now the spiritual master, Shukadeva Goswami, will respond to his disciple. My dear king, there then appeared a most auspicious sign in the sky, a halo around the sun. On the earth there were small earthquakes, and in outer space there was an unnatural redness on the horizon. These and other similar omens were impossible to counteract. Why? Because they were personally arranged by Lord Krishna himself. And having observed many disturbing signs in the sky, on the earth, and in outer space, Lord Krishna addressed the Yadus who assembled in the Sudharma Council Hall. Krishna said, O leaders of the Yadu dynasty, please take note of all these terrible omens which have appeared in Dwaraka, just like flags of death. We should not remain here a moment longer. So the women, children, and old men should leave this city and go to Shankodara. We shall go to Prabhas Kshetra, where the river Sarasvati flows towards the west. There we should bathe for purification. We should fast and fix our minds in meditation. Then we should worship the demigods by bathing their images, anointing them with sandalwood pulp, and presenting them various offerings. After performing the atonement rituals with the help of greatly fortunate brahmanas, we will then worship those brahmanas by offering them cows, land, gold, clothing, elephants, horses, chariots, and dwelling places. This is indeed the appropriate process for counteracting our imminent adversity, and is sure to bring about the highest good fortune. Such worship of the demigods, brahmanas, and cows can earn the highest birth for all living entities. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Next part is entitled Maushala Leela. Shukadeva Goswami continued speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. Having heard these words from Lord Krishna, who is known as Madhusudana, the enemy of the demon Madhu, the elders of the Yadu dynasty gave their assent, saying, Tatastu, let it be, let it be. After crossing over the ocean in boats, they proceeded on chariots to Prabhas. There, with great devotion, the Yadavas performed religious ceremonies according to the instructions of Krishna. Krishna was their personal Lord, and he is the supreme personality of Godhead. The Yadavas also performed various other auspicious rituals. Then, their intelligence covered by providence, they liberally indulged in drinking the sweet Myraya beverage, which has the possibility of completely intoxicating one's mind. The heroes of the Yadu dynasty then became intoxicated from their extravagant drinking, and then they began feeling arrogant. When they were thus bewildered by the personal potency of Lord Krishna, a terrible quarrel arose among them. Infuriated, they seized their bows and arrows, their swords, bullas, clubs, lances, and spears, attacking one another on the shore of the ocean. Riding on elephants and chariots, with flags flying, and also riding on donkeys, camels, bulls, buffaloes, mules, and even human beings, the extremely enraged warriors came together and violently attacked one another with arrows, just as elephants in the forest attack one another with their tusks. Their mutual enmity aroused, Pradyumna fought fiercely against Samba. Akrura fought against Kuntiboja. Aniruddha against Satyaki. Subhadra against Sangramajit. Sumitra against Suratha. And the two Gadas against each other. Just as a note, this Subhadra is not Lady Subhadra. This is a son of Krishna, Subhadra. Others also, such as Nishata, Ulmuka, Sahasrajit, Shatajit, and Banu, confronted and killed one another, being blinded by intoxication, and thus completely bewildered by Lord Mukunda himself. completely abandoning their natural friendship. The members of the various Yadu clans, namely the Darshahas, Vrishnis, and Andakas, as well as the Bhojas, Satvatas, Madhus, and Arbudas, as well as the Mathuras, Shurasenas, Visarjanas, Kukuras, and Kuntis, all slaughtered one another. Thus bewildered, sons fought with fathers, brothers fought with brothers, nephews fought with paternal and maternal uncles, and grandsons fought with their grandfathers. Friends fought with friends, and well-wishers fought against well-wishers. In this way, intimate friends and relatives all killed one another. When all their bows had been broken, and their arrows and other missiles spent, they then seized the tall stalks of cane with their bare hands. And as soon as they took these cane stalks in their fists, the stalks changed into iron rods as hard as thunderbolts. So just to refreshen, way back in the beginning when we started this Maushala-lila, the whole reason was that they had dressed Samba to look like a pregnant woman, and they teased the sages, asking them what this boy who was looking, Samba was dressed to look like a girl. They wanted the sages to tell who this girl would give birth to. And the sages, of course, could understand that they were being teased, and they didn't like this. And so they cursed the boys that, yes, that which she is carrying will be the destruction of their own dynasty. And when they took away the sari from Samba, there they saw a big iron club which was used to make Samba look pregnant. And they went back to Ugrasena. They didn't go to Krishna. They went to Ugrasena, explaining how they had just been cursed by the Brahmin sages. And Ugrasena did not want any shame to come upon the young Yadu boys. And so he had the club ground into bits. And all those iron filings, they washed up on the shore. So it is these iron filings that grew into the tall stalks of cane. And so as soon as they touched them, those stalks of cane turned into iron rods. And then there was one small piece of the club which they did not ground, and they threw that into the ocean. And that will come up later in this episode. But now you know why the stalks turned into iron rods. As soon as they took these cane stalks in their fists, the stalks changed into iron rods as hard as thunderbolts. And with these weapons, the Yadu warriors began attacking one another again and again. And when Krishna tried to stop them, they attacked Krishna as well. In their confused state, they also mistook Balaram for an enemy. Weapons in hand, they ran toward Balaram with the intention of killing him. O son of the Kurus, Parikshit, Krishna and Balaram then became very angry. Picking up cane stalks themselves, Krishna and Balaram moved about within the battle and began to kill all the Yadus with their clubs. the violent anger of these warriors, who were overcome by the Brahmana's curse and bewildered by Krishna's illusory potency, now led them to their annihilation, just as a fire which starts in a bamboo grove destroys the entire forest. When all the members of his own dynasty were thus destroyed, Lord Krishna thought to himself that now at last the burden of the earth had been removed. Then Lord Balaram sat down on the shore of the ocean and fixed himself in meditation upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, merging himself within himself. Then Baladev gave up this mortal world. And at the last stage, Balaram departed from this world by producing a great white snake from his mouth. And thus he was carried by Sheshanaga in the shape of a serpent. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we'll do one more episode entitled The Hunter Named Jara. Lord Krishna, son of Devaki, having witnessed the departure of his brother Balaram, sat down silently on the ground underneath a nearby pipala tree. The Lord thus exhibited his brilliantly effulgent four-armed form. So this is significant. Krishna can exhibit any form he likes. That's why Krishna is the original, complete, full personality of Godhead. Just like we are reminded that when Arjuna saw the Virat Rupa, the universal form, after some time, Arjuna requested Krishna to please take away the universal form. And he said, I want to see you in your four-arm form. So that's what Krishna did. And then Krishna resorted to his original two-arm form, which is described in Bhagavad Gita as Saumya Vapu, the deer form, the beautiful form. So Lord Krishna was exhibiting his brilliantly effulgent four-armed form. Its radiance, just like a smokeless fire, dissipating the darkness in all directions. Krishna's complexion was the color of a dark blue cloud, and Krishna's effulgence the color of molten gold. And Krishna's all-auspicious form bore the mark of Lakshmi, known as Srivatsa. A beautiful smile graced Krishna's lotus face. Locks of dark blue hair adorned Krishna's head. Lotus eyes were very attractive, and Krishna's shark-shaped earrings glittered. Krishna wore a pair of silken garments, an ornamental belt, the sacred thread, bracelets, and arm ornaments, along with the helmet, the Kaustuba jewel, necklaces, anklets, and other royal emblems. Encircling Krishna's body were flower garlands and Krishna's personal weapons in their embodied forms. As Krishna sat, he held his left foot with its lotus red sole upon his right thigh. Just then a hunter named Jara, who had approached the place, mistook the Lord's foot for the face of a deer Thinking that he had found his prey, Jara pierced Krishna's foot with his arrow, which he had fashioned from the remaining iron fragment of Samba's club. So that's what I mentioned. So that last piece of iron of the club was thrown into the ocean, and Jara was able to find that, and he made it into this arrow. Then, seeing the four-armed personality Krishna, the hunter became terrified of the offense he had committed and fell down, placing his head upon the feet of Krishna, the enemy of demons. Jara then said, "O Lord Madhusudan, I am a most sinful person. I have committed this act out of ignorance. O purest Lord, O Uttama Shloka, please forgive this sinner. O original Vishnu, the learned say that for any man, constant remembrance of you will destroy the darkness of ignorance. O Master, I have wronged you. Therefore, O Lord of Vaikuntha, please kill this sinful hunter of animals immediately, so he may not again commit such offenses against saintly persons. For neither Lord Brahma nor his sons, headed by Rudradev, nor any of the great sages who are masters of Vedic mantras can understand the function of your mystic power. And because your illusory potency has covered their sight, they remain ignorant of how your mystic power works. Therefore, what can I, a low-born personality, possibly say to you, the Supreme Lord of all other gods?" Lord Krishna, in his four-armed form, replied to Jara, "My dear Jara, do not fear. Please get up. What has been done is actually my own desire. Now, with my permission, go to the abode of the pious, the spiritual world." And so instructed by Lord Krishna, who assumes his transcendental bodies by his own will, the hunter circumambulated Lord Krishna 3 times and then bowed down. Then the hunter Jara departed in an airplane which had suddenly appeared just to carry him to the spiritual sky. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, we have time for one more short episode. So, we are continuing with our Maushala Leela reading. Everything still good? All right. This one is entitled Daruka. At that time, Daruka was searching for his master, Krishna. As Daruka neared the place where Lord Krishna was sitting, Daruka could perceive the aroma of tulsi flowers in the breeze and followed in its direction. Upon seeing Lord Krishna resting at the foot of a banyan tree, surrounded by his shining weapons, Daruka could not control the affection he felt in his heart. his eyes filled with tears as he rushed down from the chariot, falling at the Lord's feet out of deep affection. Dwaraka said, "O Lord, just as on a moonless night people are merged into darkness and cannot find their way, now that I have lost sight of your lotus feet, I have lost my vision, my dear Lord, and I am wandering blindly in darkness, and I cannot tell my direction, nor can I find any peace." Shukadeva Goswami then said, "O foremost of kings, Parikshit, while the chariot driver of Krishna, Daruka, was still speaking, before his very eyes, the Lord's chariot rose up into the sky along with its horses and flags, which was marked with the emblem of Garuda. All the divine weapons of Vishnu rose up and followed the chariot. Lord Krishna, who is also known by the name Janardana, then spoke to his chariot driver, Dwaraka, who was indeed most astonished to see all of this. Krishna said, "O driver, go to Dwaraka and tell our family members how their loved ones destroyed one another. Also tell them of the disappearance of Lord Sankarshana, my brother, and also tell them of my own present condition. Now, Daruka, you and your relatives should not remain in Dwaraka, the capital of the Yadus, because once I have abandoned that city, it will be inundated by the ocean. You should all take your families, together with my parents, and under Arjuna's protection, go to Indraprastha. You, Daruka, should be firmly situated in devotion to me, remaining fixed in spiritual knowledge and unattached to material considerations. You should understand all these recent pastimes to be a display of my illusory potency. So, you should remain peaceful." Thus ordered, Daruka circumambulated the Lord and offered obeisances to Krishna again and again. Daruka placed Lord Krishna's lotus feet upon his head, and then with a sad heart went back to Dwaraka city. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namaste Nara Singhaya Praklad Aklada Dayane Hiranya Kashipur Bhaksha Shilatanga Nakalaye Ito Nrsinga Parato Nrsinho Yato Yamitato Nrsinha Bahir Nrsinga Hridaye Nrsinho Nrsingham Ading Sharanang Prapadye Namaste Narasinghaya Nrsingham Ading Sharanang Prapadye Shavakara Kamala Vare Nakam Adbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranya Kashipo Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahadi Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Nrsinga Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadisha Hare Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Okay, so since we are in the observance of Ram Navami, some temples observed yesterday, some temples are observing today. So instead of a rock and roll song, I have put together a nice Ram Bhajan. And there'll be, well, you'll see. You can tell me what you think. Let's glorify Lord Ram. Hey Ram, Jaga mein sacho tero naam. In this world, your name is the truth. Hey Ram, Jaga mein sacho tero naam. Hey Ram, Tu hi mata, tu hi pita hai. You are mother, you are father. Tu hi mata, tu hi pita hai. Tu hi to hai Radha ka Shyam. And you are the Shyam of Srimati Radharani. Tu hi to hai Radha ka Shyam. Hey Ram, Jaga mein sacho tera naam. Hey Ram, Tu antaryami Shabaka Swami. You are the super soul and the controller of the world. Tu antaryami Sabaka Swami. Tere charanon mein charodam. Your lotus feet contain the three worlds. Tere charano me charodam. Hey Ram, hey Ram. Jagame sacho cheronam. Hey Ram, hey Ram. Tu hi brigade, tu hi shavade. You are the one who gives distress, but you are also the one who gives happiness. Tu hi brigade, tu hi shavade. Ise jaga ke sare kam. Indeed, all activities are handled by you. Ise jaga ke sare kam. Hey Ram, hey Ram. Jaga me sacho tero nam. Hey Ram, hey Ram. Tu hi jagadata Vishvavidhata. You are the Supreme Lord of everything. Tu hi jagadata Vishvavidhata. Tu hi shobhaho, tu hi sham. Indeed, every morning begins with you, and every night ends with you. Tu hi shubhaho, tu hi sham. Hey Ram, hey Ram. Jagame sacho cheronam. Hey Ram, hey Ram. 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 Jagame sacho cheronam. Jagame sacho cheronam. Hey Ram, hey Ram. 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 Ramaya Rama Bhadraya Ramachandraya Medhashe Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Sing Ramaya Namaha. Rang Ramaya Namaha. Sring Sitaya Swaha. Sring Sitaya Namaha. Hey Ram, hey Ram. Hey Ram, hey Ram. Purusho Rama Charitang Sravanair Upadharayan Anrishangsya Parorajan Karma Bandhair Vimuchyate. My dear King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy and thus liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. O my Lord Ramachandra, descendant of the Raghu dynasty, please protect me. Please maintain me. Ramante Yogina Anante Satyanande Chid Atmani Iti Rama Padena Sao Parang Brahmabhi Dhyate. The Supreme Absolute Truth is called Ram because transcendentalists take pleasure in the unlimited true pleasure of spiritual existence. Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Vistulyang Rama Nama Vararane. Lord Shiva addressed his wife, O Varanana, I chant the holy name Ram, Ram, Rama, and thus I enjoy this most beautiful sound. This holy name of Ramachandra is equal to 1,000 holy names of Lord Vishnu. Vitarasi Dikshu Rane Dikpati Kamaniyang Dashamukha Mauli Balim Ramaniyam Keshavadrita Rama Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Ramachandra Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Jaya Jagadisha Jaya Jagadisha Hare Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hey Ram, 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 hey Hey Ram, Hey Ram, Hey Ram, Hey Ram, Hey Ram. Okay, everybody, you can unmute and we'll have our Ishtagosti. And we'll start with Vishwanath, who has been on sabbatical. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Please tell us your travels, your experiences, your realizations. Share. Welcome back.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much to you and the whole family. Prabhuji, as always, the key learning for me, in essence, is how do I continue to learn to be more surrendering to the Lord Krishna, and how do I continue to serve Lord Krishna. This is what is the key inference from most of what I keep hearing from all the classes and lessons.
Good.
So I would stick to that and trying to think how can I be more committed and how can I be more focused.